Good day, YouTubers. Welcome back to my channel. Time for a spot of royalty. So, unless you've been living under a rock, you know that Meghan won her court trial against the Daily Mail on summary judgment. We should remember that this is about a father's broken heart. Meghan wrote that terrible letter to justify herself and to blame her father for everything. I think this is typical narcissistic behavior. A narcissist never takes responsibility for anything. They're unable to because they have a false self, and the false self is perfect, and so they have to hold up this false self. And this is a good representation of that. She's a princess here, and her father's not good enough to walk her down the aisle, and Mr. Markle cried when Charles walked her down the aisle. How is her relationship with Charles now? I think it's terrible. Here, such a big deal was made out of him making these false paparazzi photos. This is him getting fitted for his wedding suit. This is just some random kid. This is just a cloth store. He just staged it. He knows how to stage stuff. Here's Doria in the car with her. You know, she gets all the goodies. You know, she gets out of prison, steals a bunch of money, screws everybody over, but she gets the goodies and no one else. Here he is as a loving father, flew up from California, bought all that stuff, took her to the game. He didn't have that winter coat. And here again is Charles taking the place. It's appropriate for Charles to be standing here, but it would also be appropriate for Mr. Markle to be standing there in this photo. So let's not forget what that's about. It's about a father's broken heart. So Meghan won on summary judgment with Judge Warby. But there still remains the technical issue of joint copyright. The Crown has a breach of privacy issue because at the very least, Jason Knopf, one of the assistants, assisted in writing this letter. And so this portion of it, the joint copyright portion, will go to trial. So I would think that the Crown doesn't want this to go to trial. So will the rest of this case go to trial? Because, I mean, they don't never complain, never explain. They don't want this in the public eye. They just want it to go away. So will the rest of the case make it to trial, or, you know, will the Queen kill it? Will the rest of the case make it to trial? Official, very official. The court, snake, very difficult and complicated. 21-22. It's in a lot of people's best interest that this be unraveled. Inheritance, this could be, these are very solid cards. Inheritance and Cornerstone, very solid. These could be, these are not breaking cards, very solid. And we have a union card. The player, you know, sudden decision, conflict in the world, committed to this conflict in the world. I think this will go to trial. I don't see this breaking. I see this going to trial. So this must be in the interest of the Crown. Let's look at the Crown and Judge Warby. Let's look at Warby. Okay, because, you know, there's all kinds of issues. Omid Scobie, Meghan clearly wrote Finding Freedom. There's all kinds of collusion. The father was going to testify. Was there any backdoor dirty dealings between Meghan Markle, her side, and Judge Warby? Because these things are decided before you get to the courtroom. They're decided before you get to the courtroom. So was there any funny business dealings? Meghan Markle and Judge Warby. Judge Warby. Oh, goodness. Look at that. Okay, is there any funny business dealings between Meghan Markle's side and Judge Warby? Absolutely. We have the devil in the fox. The devil is a liar. The devil will do anything. Extremely underhanded. The fox is very clever and moves the pieces around. 12 and 11, 23, 6 clubs. Wow. It's a very deeply rooted form of corruption. Wow. Judge Warby, outside influences. Secret outside influences changed his mind. 14, 19, 5 clubs. 2 5s, 2 7s. So this kind of thing has been going on forever. Maybe it's the crown. What's on Meghan Markle's side? Put a stop to this, communicating that she wants to put a stop to this, and the cross. 16, 21, 6. It's backdoor dealings by people who know each other. This person who knows this person it's influence peddling. So there was influence peddling that went on behind the scenes that led to this summary judgment. It's influence peddling. Very disturbing. So, and the devil is the worst card. Fox is really bad. Outside influences change the decision secretly. Terrible. 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 Let's ask, did the crown stop it? Did the queen stop it? She didn't want this to go forward. Did the crown stop it? It's not in the best interest of the crown for all this embarrassment to come out. Did the crown and the queen stop it? All right, do we have the crown and the queen stopping it? Underneath, breaking it, looking very committed to the long term, the situation going forward, look committed to the long term. They didn't want this to happen. They didn't want it to happen. On the surface, home, closely associated people, reacting and opportunistic. 8 and 5, 13, 4, 4, 4. It's all about the family. The queen and the crown are protecting the royal family. People are always calling for the end of the monarchy. You know, Charles needs to become king for a little while, this long, and then William needs to be king for a really long time. So they did not want this to happen. The queen and the crown did not want this to happen for the good of the royal family. Definitely backdoor dealings. I'm not sure who did it. I'm not sure who done it. Who did the backdoor dealings? I feel like the real power lies with the crown. It doesn't lie with Meghan Markle, and they're only going to get her a summary judgment if it helps the crown. And that's the only thing that makes sense to me. So, but she was lobbying for it, because of the permanent family. So it's about the crown. Meghan was able to convince them that it's in the best interest of the crown. All right, so there's the outstanding issue of the 5 anonymous friends, okay, who would have admitted that Meghan told them to go to People magazine and blast it out. Will the Daily Mail now expose the names and identities of the 5 anonymous friends? They're all young women with children. I doubt that very much. I'm sure some of them are women. But, she's, again, playing the victim sympathy card. So that's very powerful information that people really want to know. Will they now go and expose the 5 anonymous friends? Will the Mail expose the 5 anonymous friends? Executioner, incubus, succubus, mustard seed. The court. King of spades is the court and the judge. 13 and 6, 19, 25 spades. They are, right now, they are blocked. They are prohibited from exposing the 5 anonymous friends. Mustard seed is a message, getting the message out. The court is stopping them from exposing this lie, the deceitfulness going on underneath. What do we have here underneath? Disappointed, bad ending. The woman is keeping it a secret. Butterfly and 6 diamonds, exposing very publicly to all the people. We're going to be disappointed because the woman is stopping it. That woman is Meghan. 22, 32, 32, 8 spades. Scapegoat. Scapegoat and 10 spades. No. They're not able to expose the 5 anonymous friends now. That's interesting. Will they be able to expose them in the future? If they delay long enough, maybe people won't care. I guess as long as the trial is ongoing, they can't expose them. Will the Daily Mail expose the identities of the 5 anonymous friends later? Sun exposes all. Relationships. Ooh, beautiful. Yes. Beautiful. So will they expose the 5 anonymous friends later? Yes. We have a union card, 2 hearts. The close relationship, 8, 9, 3 hearts. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It's all red. We have the yes card. We have a 2, a commitment. We have friends card. And we have sun exposing. And yes, the close relationships between the anonymous friends. So they're very closely related. These are people closely related to Meghan. So they're not objective. Okay, so that's interesting. So right now, the Mail is prohibited by the court. As long as the trial is ongoing, they're prohibited from exposing who these 5 anonymous friends are. Because I think there's a big scandal there. Okay, so first I asked, will the rest of the trial, will the rest of the case make it to trial? We have a 2 here, and, you know, just the lighter portions that people are much less interested in. The players knew, the player is very specific, goes right after what he wants. So it's a very narrow portion of what's left. And it's just, the Crown is also involved in the breach of privacy. And the Crown can say, we don't want to prosecute. And then it's just left up to Meghan. And so maybe that's how it ends. Okay, but the rest of the case is going forward. It's very solid. The rest of the case is going forward. So you're going to see this. We're going to see this in the news for the next however long, another 6 months or whatever. Was there funny business behind the scenes with Judge Warby? Absolutely. The worst kind. Outside influence affected his decisions secretly. Meghan was definitely involved, but we have this family card. I think it's the royal family. Here I asked if it's the royal family and the Queen. They didn't want this to happen. It's not what's best for the family long term. They were kind of in there lobbying. I can't really tell if it's Meghan and the family. I think it's both. I think it's Meghan, who is still part of the royal family, who affects everything she does, affects Harry and affects the royal family. And so the royal family is very interested and wants to keep tabs on everything that Meghan is doing. Okay, so will the Daily Mail, can they publish the 5 anonymous friends? No, not at this time. The court's prohibiting it. So as long as the trial's going on. Will they publish it later? You bet. And that's great news. That's great news. So the 5 anonymous friends will get out, but the longer it goes on, they want to drag this out to keep this scandal out of. Very well played. Okay, if they can wait long enough, people will forget all about who the 5 anonymous friends are. And then they're like, well, that happened like 2 years ago. Why do we care about it now? You know, goodness. That's just such old news. And so they're going to drag out this little minuscule portion until no one even cares anymore, until somebody, you know, until there's some big event. And this is what like China and North Korea always do. They wait for some big thing to happen and then they invade a country, you know, or they do something crazy because everybody's looking over there. There's a big fire over there. So then China invades some country. So that's how I see it. I'm Joseph Magi, author of Playing Card Divination, Fortune Telling, the Magi Method. Find the book worldwide on Amazon and Kindle and paperback versions. Find the full color card deck used here on Etsy/Magi Method. Many thanks to the generous folks who bought me a cup of tea. Please feel free to like, share, subscribe, and